friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here today to talk about an easy and frugal homemade furniture polish. So you can use this on any of your wood furniture, whether it be parts of the furniture that are wood or entirely wood on any part, and this will help preserve and clean it. Now, basically, it's not much different than what I do when I'm treating my cutting boards and different things like that, but it usually doesn't get done as often on my furniture as the kitchen stuff because that stuff gets wet, it gets dirty more, and so on and so forth. And so I'm going to be demonstrating on this stool slash desk, yes, desk, believe it or not, that Patrick had made for me. He does have a video on this that I'll link to in the description box down below showing how he made it. And also at the end of that video, I do the closing and talk about how I use it and how happy I am with it. So yes, because I'm a floor sitter, this is my desk, but also makes a great stool. And so I've been using it for a few weeks, very happy with it, and I wanted to give it a treatment, so I thought now would be a perfect time for me to mix up some of my furniture polish. And the only reason it's still in liquid form is because I just made it, and I don't want to wait for it to set up to shoot this video. So what I have here is a 4-ounce jar, and all that is about 4 ounces of coconut oil. Now, I prefer to use in something like this the virgin coconut oil. Not only does it stay softer when you go to use it on anything like this, because you know, if you live in a cooler climate, it does tend to set up. If you're in a warmer place, it's always going to stay in a liquid form like this. But for us, it does set up, and I find that the virgin coconut oil does stay softer, so thus it's much easier to use in applications like this. So what I do is, since I'm always using my wood stove during the 9 months out of the year that we have a fire burning in it, you can do this on your stove top, you can do this in the microwave if you want, but I like to put a trivet on top of the wood stove first. Then I'll put my jar filled with the coconut oil. This is, like I said, this is just a 4-ounce jar on top of the trivet. I don't want to set the jar directly on the wood stove because I don't want to crack it, especially if the jar is still on the cooler side, but setting it on the trivet, especially if I just put the trivet on there and it's also still cool, that's going to heat it slower and prevent the jar from cracking. So that's why I love using jars, any kind of canning jars, because they're made to handle high heat, so you can heat your stuff up or melt things in them. So then after it's all melted, you can do this before it melts if you want. I usually wait till after it's all melted, and in that you have the option, you can either use just the coconut oil alone, or to add some extra, just a nice smell and just extra benefit to your wood, I recommend adding either a lemon oil or orange oil to that, essential oil. Lime oil is also another great one. Any of your citrus oils are really great for your wood and also smell wonderful. I usually add about a capful of the oil, which is going to equal about a 1/4 to a 1/2 teaspoon, depending on your cap size, but you can put in a few drops. It's going to be entirely up to you. I like it pretty strong, so I'm going to do a whole capful. And then I like those little dessert forks. Those are perfect for blending, especially in little jars like this, and I just mix that up really well, and then it's ready to use as is, or I can let it set up. And here's a picture of what it looks like when it's all set up. And so in its liquid form like this, you can simply take, what I've got here is one of Patrick's old t-shirts. I take old t-shirts and cut them up. In fact, I'll be doing a video on the many uses for old t-shirts and how we recycle them. And you can dip it in there and then just start to work it into your wood like so. Now, when I'm first starting, I like to work in circles, and that goes for, you know, especially on the surface like that where it needs it the most. But obviously it's kind of harder to do on your edges like this, but you can work in circles if you want and if you're able to. But I do like to work in circles first, and I'll show you a little clip here on the side right here where you can see I'm putting it on our dining room table. And so I like to work in circles because that helps to work it into all the grain really well. And then after I've gone over that whole area that I'm working at the time, I usually on the table I'll work in little areas at a time. Then I'll go back and follow the grain and work with the grain like that to finish it up. Just like that, working with the grain. And again, you can go through all the sides, all the corners. This just adds it's a nice little polish. It's totally natural. It's totally safe, non-toxic. And so it's not going to hurt your kids, your animals, or yourself. Unless you have allergies to coconut, and as far as essential oils, you can either leave them out or use the ones that you're going to be less likely to have any kind of reaction to. So really, it's that simple and that inexpensive. And it just makes, this is all I've been using for many years on our kitchen tabletop. Now, I haven't actually treated this countertop that Patrick made. He has a video, I think it might be a series, I don't remember if it's a single video, I'll link to it down below, of this whole countertop that he made from the recycled oak boards that he took off the equipment trailer when he needed to redeck it. And so this has a really nice finish on it. It doesn't really need the same kind of treatment as something like this or our table does, because he's got a pretty good thick layer on this. But I could still do this if I wanted to on here, just to keep it nice, or to clean off, because this is also basically our buffet table. I have a video about this whole room that if you're interested in what it used to be and what it is now, that I'll link to down below. But basically this is when we have family gatherings, this is our buffet table, so all the food gets set. And it's a nice long counter, and it's perfect for what we need it for. So anyway, something like this could be also a good way, even if you don't need to actually polish, it's a good way to actually clean anything sticky off of your surfaces like this. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.